Let's see what is spirituality. See, the pain is inevitable. Spirituality means reducing suffering up to almost nil. And this concept is explained using only the single slide by spiritual laws of world drama of souls, using formulas, graphics, animation, and the whole thing is validated by science, both physics as well as metaphysics. Spirituality or Adhyatma. The concept of drama is explained. So it has actors, it has a stage, which is a space dimension, script, which is a time dimensions. We will talk about four yugs. And then there are laws, rules of the journey. We're going to talk about the stage or space dimension of the drama. It has a backstage, namely the soul world, and then there is a front stage, which is not called the human world. And this stage is based on the sixth element, and it has no dimensions. Human world is based on five elements, and both they are separated by thermodynamic boundaries, and it has all dimensions. Human world has all the dimensions. Now let us talk about the first actor of the drama, namely Purush, alias Atma, spirit, is defined in the soul world as a specific number n, and every soul has a human, we are talking about human souls, and it has a human DNA, or we can call it as a Q, or Swadharma of the human, and that human DNA is one of the 84 lakhs yoni. It has a script, and once the script is played in the human world, so this is how human world, the soul is defined, and it has human world as a man, which is the based on the input getting from its outer world. It thinks with buddhi, it visualizes or make decisions, and this man and buddhi is both the temporary memory, which is displayed in the orange color. We can call it as a conscious mind. And once one thinks and buddhi visualizes, the resultant feeling or the experience of the man is stored. And if that happens in multiple times, then this is stored as a derived sanskar. So we can say that man, we can say that it is a jhana, buddhi means it is a manna, sanskar is chalna, and only if you do the if you follow the path, you'll be able to give and dena. So these are the four subjects of Raj-Yog, namely Gyan means janna, manna means dharana, Mana means yog, chalna means dharana, and dena means seva. Now this derived sanskar is stored as a black layer on top of the orange layer. And this is because it has happens multiple times, it is stored. This is permanent. And then sanskar is made up of sub, subconscious mind, subconscious and unconscious mind, and it is stored permanently and it has all the power. So we can say it is 90% of the power is subconscious mind compared to the 10% of power of the conscious mind, because in subconscious mind it is image is stored. So you can say that image is more powerful than the logic. And because of this 90% of the power, spirituality actually is related with the sanskar or subconscious or unconscious mind that we will see. Now in conscious mind, in soul world, soul has, we can see that there is a DNA and there is a script, the Q plus script, whereas in a human world, it has a four minds, namely a conscious mind, then there is a subconscious or unconscious mind, or we can say that intuition, then there is an unconscious mind, or we can say that deep-rooted sanskars, and then there is a supraconscious mind. So this is how it is defined in the human world. This energy is defined as a discharge of the battery, and this discharge is because of the activity, and this is the formula. Then energy is proportional to the frequency of the thought. So that is the formula of the, because soul has an energy and that is the formula of the soul. Q or the DNA or Swadharma of the body we know is a fire element. Whereas for the human soul, the Swadharma is made up of the seven characteristic or seven things which is common to all the souls. And we can say that they are Satogun and it's made up of Gyan, Adhyatmic Gyan, Pavitrata, Shanti, Prem, Sukh, Anand, and Shakti. And then there are eight kinds of the Shakti, Sahan Shakti, Samane ki Shakti, Sametna, Vistar se Sar ki Shakti, Parak Shakti, Nirnay Shakti, सामना करने की शक्ति, सहयोग शक्ति. Now all these satoguns, they are common, and that is what they are taught by all religious founders. But unfortunately, we have tried to identify these teachings by the teacher or religious founder, and that leads to a religions by body or by birth, and we can call it as a Janma Dharma, vis-a-vis Swadharma. So spirituality is based on Swadharma, and the things teaching which is derived from the spirituality, we could call it as a Jan Dharma. We'll talk about second actor of the drama, namely the Prakriti. In the quantum world, it can be Prakriti can be classified as an electron, and it has a dual character. It is energy or it is a particle. Purush or a conscious observer controls the Prakriti. In the quantum world, there is a duality, and it is explained by the Einstein equation, and it is triggered by the ob- behavior, triggered by the change of the behavior. Once it is Prakriti, there is a change of the behavior, it is observed by the Purush, and it is explained by this. This is energy which has a multiple state, and that converts into a single state, because that is the what the state is recognized by the conscious mind of the Purush. So this is how the conversion, and this shows that the Purush script of the Purush controls the Prakriti. This is based on the quantum physics, and we will see the details. By default, Prakriti is an energy or a wave, which is shown by the interference pattern. And this multiple state or a superposition as per the Schrodinger equation, and which is as if the dice has been thrown up, and means it is the values can be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. The conscious observer, when it's doing the before it enters the slit, the behavior of the changes converts into the mass or a particle, and which is splitted by the two lines, and that means that the default behavior of is in Schrodinger equation, which is a superposition of all the states, is into a single state. Means one of the observers say this shows result as a 4 out of the 6 possible states. And that is what is observed, because that is what is understood by the conscious mind. So that shows that the conscious mind, it controls the Prakriti, the way conscious thought can control the behavior of the arrangement of the water molecule, as proved by Emoto, the Nobel laureate. His observations after he's already entered the double slit, it also gives the same result as the first observation. And that concludes that cause and effect or whether cause and effect and cause. There is a two-way relationship, and that means that everything is, it is a predetermined script which is controlling the Prakriti, or you could say that it is a cyclic script. Like when you go clockwise or anti-clockwise, the result is the same. And that means that the script is controlling the Prakriti, means, or because the script is present in Atma or Purush, on the soul. So script of the soul is controlling the Prakriti. Because here we know that the conscious mind controls the Prakriti, but actually it is the script which is present in the conscious mind or in the soul, which is controlling the Prakriti. The script is further understood by the Libet, by the neuroscience experiment, which says that script is the truth, or we can say that unconscious mind. The signal is before the intention or a conscious mind. And so there is no free will. This is a graph of brain EEG, and this is temporary. So before the conscious mind, there is always a signal which comes from the unconscious mind. So the script is, this is the definition. The script is controlling the Prakriti. So there is no free will. There is all the thoughts, they don't, is not generated by us, but those are generated by actually scripts, which is stored in every human soul. So let us talk about the journey from the soul world to human world. And during the journey, Prakriti as an energy. This is as per the physics or thermodynamics that we will see that Prakriti as an energy, as per the thermodynamics law one, that quantity or the energy is always a constant. But as per the second thermodynamics now, the quality deteriorates, or it is downward trend of the quality is there, and that we will see. The second law of thermodynamics, the passage of the time, the entropy also increases, so that we can say that things, the passage of the time, things from new becomes old, from orderly things it will become disorderly things, or from spiritual language from Sato Pradhan to Tamo Pradhan, with passage of time during the journey. Journey in the soul world to human world, that is when there is a soul is playing the part in drama. From backstage in the soul world, it is a bodiless world. And this is, we have shown this human tree, religious tree, the fire religion. This is a deity religion. This is here, this is the extension of that is a Hindu religion. This is a Abraham religion. Then there is a Christian religion, and there is a Buddha religion. And there is a specific location of the every soul, and that depends on the brightness. The higher on the human inverted human tree, the brighter is the soul, and there is no space and time. And in the front stage in the human world, when it is playing the part, that using, of course, by body of the fire element, and we can say that it is creating history as a time dimension and in a specific geography, or that is the space dimension. Now, let us say the journey through the space, and it is going from the soul world to human world. Let us say what are the rules. First is that first birth or law of attraction, which depends on the playtime of the soul or the brightness of the soul, which is depend on the what is the position of the soul on the tree, so that that soul or the DNA or the brightness or the charge in the soul world, when that is equal to the quality or the prakriti, then as per the thermodynamics of the charge which is left. So when the quality of the prakriti and this charge matches, then the soul enters the womb of the mother. And second law is that because soul is entering, so soul count is reduced from the soul world and that count is increased in the human world. And then definition of subsequent death and the birth is nothing but change of the trace and address of the soul. And when the birth takes place, at the time when the soul is in the womb, then the several qualities of the soul will generate the seven subsystems of the body of the child, like Adhyatmic Gnan will affect the neurosystem, Pavitrita will affect the immune system, Shanti will affect the respiratory system, Prem will affect the cardiology system, Sukh will affect the digestive system, Anand will affect the hormone system, Shakti will affect the skeleton and muscular system. Now we talk about journey in a time dimension. But time dimension only exists in human world. So we have explained this. We're going to explain this cycle with respect to time by a graph. The x-axis is the time axis. Y-axis is common because we know that Purush controls the Prakriti, so both characteristics have to be the same as per the quantum physics. So this is the axis of the quality, and there is same common for the two actors, A1 and 2. And we can say that that is a for actor 1 or for Purush, we can say that journey is from the Sato or Punya Atma to or at that particular time, the Prakriti will have a heaven-like characteristics or deterministic characteristics to Tamo Pradhan or Papatma for Purush, and for Prakriti, it will be a kind of a hell. So those characteristics we would see, which is the journey in time. Now we will see the journey of the cycle, which is the karma versus time in human world. So it is the role which is played by the Purush or a soul, and that depends on the two type of the scripts which we'll see. The two type of script. This is played showing overall. It will show the overall downward trend using second law of thermodynamics or law of entropy on the Prakriti, and we'll try to because we know that Purush controls the Prakriti, so they're both characteristics are identical, both actors' characteristics are identical. So they are subsequently mapped to Purush. And we are going to take the analogy of when the lubrication, so green color, we can say that it is kind of a lubrication. So we can say that this lubrication is getting reduced. And the second script, or we can say that it is the kind of a generating the frequency friction. So this is lubrication. Once lubrication is reduced, the friction starts generating. So that friction is also increased. So ultimately, we are saying that there is less of the green. And because it is the less of the green, so net Q or the net charge of the soul is reduced. And this is depends on the state of cells. We have seen the four state of the soul. So two lubricating souls, or we can say that nirvikari world, and then this is the two which resemble the friction, or we can say that vikari world that we will describe later. So these concepts based on the thermodynamics we will see now. So this is the heat engine, which is the definition of efficiency is output divided by input. And there is a leakage, so that is always efficiency will be less than one. So there will always be a downward trend. But that we will see in both types of the heat engine. One is an ideal heat engine, means is a kind of a frictionless heat engine. And there is a real heat engine, which is a friction. So this is a reversible heat engine, and this is irreversible heat engine. The lubrication, this is friction. This is both are balanced, Clausius law. This is imbalance less than zero because of the leakage. This is delta S zero, delta is greater than zero because of this intergenerated. This is efficiency only on external things. This is an external internal. This is a deterministic things, only a point. This is non-deterministic thing. So this is a time process from is going from here to here. So we are seeing that heat engine in ideal state, there is no friction. And because of the ds is dq by t, so there is always a balance of the flow from input and output. The flow is same, so that is delta s is zero. And that's why, as for this graph, it goes back to the same state. So it is a deterministic and it only based on the external environment. So this is the source temperature and it only be in sink temperature as per this formula. So the behavior is only based on the external temperature. Whereas the real engine with a friction engine, there is a friction, which is black layer, there is a leakage. And because of this leakage, we can say there is imbalance. So this output is more than input. So delta S is always greater than zero. And because of that, there is entropy, this is entropy which is generated because of the non-linearity of the internal things. And so of course, we know that the efficiency is less. This is the efficiency less, but this is the efficiency reduces much more drastically. And this is because of this leakage. This is non-deterministic. So this is the path function. And and so here the efficiency not only depends on the external environment, but it also depends on the internal environment or the friction. We are trying to map heat engine, which resembles the Prakriti. So we are trying to map to a soul engine, and we are going to use heat engine means we are going to use a thermal entropy, then we are going to use a statistical entropy. From statistical entropy, we are going to use the information entropy. For information entropy, which is nothing but memory and processing. So we'll correlate with the brain, and from brain we are going to correlate with the soul energy, with the soul engine. We are trying to prove that how to convert delta S to as change in entropy into the entropy. So this independent entropy, which is a statistical entropy, depends on the microstates, which is nothing but the permutations. So this is a higher permutation, this is a lower permutation. The flow is from the lower permutation to the higher permutations. And the number of permutations is nothing but the entropy. And this is by default, this is how the process flows from lower entropy to the higher entropy. Now this normal process flow from lower entropy to the higher entropy means order to disorder was hypothetically reversed by Maxwell using the manual processing, means memory and processing power. And that led to a new concept of the information entropy. And that information entropy depends on the height of the decision tree. And these formulas that would have a logarithm. So here, this entropy is based on the statistical entropy based on the micro steps, and this information entropy is then based on the number of layers or height of the decision tree. And that experiment was that this was disorder, but with imaginary soul. It was ordered, means when ordered things comes, the gate was entered, and that processing was considered without entropy or without anything. But then ultimately say that total entropy when going from 1 to 2, the entropy increases because even if the statistical entropy is ordered, so it is reduced, but there is some other entropy. So information entropy is increased. We will talk about information entropy and try to correlate it with time. We know that information always increases. With information increases, the height of the decision tree is increasing. So this height or number of layers, this is what is increasing, and based on that higher the information, the decision tree, the more options or more vikalps is there. And this number of layers is what is called as a Vikaar. So ultimately, what we have proved is that the entropy of the heat engine, we are, because of the information entropy, we are correlate with the Vikaar of the soul, or we can say it is journey from order to disorder. And we have used statistics, probability, and Maxwell thought information. And we say that the equation also, both equations of the statistical entropy and information entropy has a logarithm. And because the information entropy, there is a daemon, hypothetical daemon, which is nothing but a memory plus processing, which is equivalent to the break, and that leads to the uh, information entropy, and that is what is the soul. So that those layers with respect to the time, and that is what is a vikar. So we have tried to derive from the Prakruti entropy to the Purush vikar, but we know that as per the quantum physics, Purush controls the Prakruti. So ultimately we say that the vikar of the Purush, ultimately course of the time, it makes the entropy of the Prakriti or heat engine, which is Prakriti represented with the entropy increases. The Purush Vikar controls the entropy of the Prakriti. So we have tried to map the soul engine, where input is a deterministic input, or we can say that pralabdh, and then there is a sankalp. So this pralabdh and sankalp will generate the karma because there's a lubrication. So there is a sthiti, internal state of that soul is Q, or the sattva dharma of the Q. And because of that, the karma is ideal or is zero, and it is executed using the soul conscious script. So this is ideal engine is equal to a soul conscious script, and where the source is the charge of the soul, and the sink is the soul count which is existing in the human world. And that this count is always increasing and this charge is reducing. So based on that, we can always say that efficiency always reduces. Whereas in the when you are executing this body conscious script, this body conscious script, here the input is not deterministic, it is non-deterministic input. We have seen that way the karma gati or guya gati that comes into the picture. So karmic account comes into the picture. Because of that, there is always a vikar. So that soul consciousness or Q state is not, there is a entropy layer or vikar layer is there. And because of this vikar layer, the karma is negative, this non-deterministic. So here it was a sada sukh, this is sukh dukh, and because we are taking Q from the outside, and that is because there is a leakage, and this is how when body conscious script is executed. So this is the playing the role in ideal scenario. So this is a there are two scripts. This is the soul conscious script, and this is another script. We'll say this is the body conscious script. And soul conscious script in ideal world when it is executed. So the soul conscious script where everything is predefined. So the Q internal that will because we say that with the smruti sthiti, which is the Q, the sthiti will have a soul conscious state. So that sthiti comes out in the kruti. So that is we can say that this karma is zero because there is no karmic account. This is the navigation of this is the karmic account versus the time. So this is the navigation of the two worlds. So this is the golden age, this is the silver age, this is the nirvikari world, and which is a deterministic world. And because it is a deterministic world, so even if the charge is reduced or efficiency is reduced, but it's still a deterministic world, and there will always be a sadasuk, or which is kind of the heavens, and these are the two states, and that is what is here shown. This is a golden age, and this is the silver age. So this is how the human soul will navigate in these two worlds. Now, in course of the time, because of the Debhan, because of the many births, so the soul becomes from soul conscious to body conscious, and with respect to the time. So it will only feel the body, but it is the soul. So the power is really in the soul. But as we know that the soul is made up of sato gun. So because it forgot there is a soul, so it is getting those cues of means shanti, prem, sukh, anand, trying to get the cue from the prakriti externally. So it's trying to generate this from the externally. So this cue is from the external world as because it is body conscious, that Q has always become zero, and that is required for the survival. So when we try to get an external pleasure or pseudo pleasure, so when it is derived from, when these pleasures are derived from indriya bhog or for body, it is called as a calm. When it is derived from the deha sambandh or relation, it is called as a moh. When it is derived from any five element or padarth bhog, so when it is called as a lobe, and once you are not satisfied, when you are satisfied about all these things, then it will create aham or ego. And if it is not satisfied, it will create growth. So that will generate all these five vikars. So when it is taking, when in body college, when there is all karma, which is done in a body conscious state, and when we are trying to extract the pseudo pressure from the external source, the vikara generated, it is represented in the black layer. So this is black layer. Actually, this black layer is generated on top of this Q. So this is what is generated, and during the journey, what happens that it is getting accumulated, and the journey is nothing but converting from the I, mean the soul, or 7Q to mind. So these layers are mine, or these are the different labels. Labels of position, labels of age, labels of achievement. So this is what we call it is a ego. And this is a black layer. And because of this, the perpetual happiness, okay, which was there in the Nirvikari world, and that is not there. So there is another definition of the spirituality could be that it is a removing of these labels. So going back to the original things. This Vikar is omnipresent. So that is Vikar as because it makes auto effect. So this is because subconscious mind is more powerful because it is all automatic. And by default, this is how it comes into the action. So we could know whether we have Vikar or not. So that is depends on we can every soul has a Vikar. So we even though by the quality of the dream or how you react. So sometimes we react and we do not respond. So and that way that is sure that this Vikar it is shown as a black layer attached to the soul. So it is attached to the this soul. So this is subconscious and unconscious mind, and from there there will be energy body, and then it will take the form of the body, and there will be always be, and based on that, the body parts are generated, and so it is very clear that this is the vikar is part of the soul, attached to the soul, and when we do the healing. So it is best to heal the soul or the source rather than even healing the energy body, which is made up of the seven chakras. We can say that from body consciousness to we gradually remove all the vikas. So five body consciousness is one chakra, or five vikas are the another five chakra, and ultimately will become the soul conscious. So this that is the journey, which will be the that will be the body consciousness to soul consciousness. This is the journey of the healing. Now the playing role in a real scenario. So this is the body conscious script, and it is because we know that is the internal vikar, or which is considered as the entropy of the heat engine. So because of the internal vikar, which we have seen, so there is always a black layer. And we know that sthiti is equal to kuti. So it is not a Q and the black layer. So because of the black layer, this when karmic account, this karma is always going to be negative. And we know that the Q was a constant. Vikar, there is always a karmic account. So there is a variable, there is sukh dukh. So this is all non-deterministic. There is a karmic account. So there is always a sukh and dukh. And and so we can say that it is indirectly the vikar which generates temporary sukh and more of a dukh. So vikar generates dukh. So here we are seeing the navigation in vikari world or a non-deterministic world where there is a sukh and dukh. So this is what is a copper age and iron age. And and so this is the two states. So this is more and more of Vikaar, so more and more of Dukh. And this is the Vikari world. This is Vikari world. This is we have already seen this two Nirvikari world. And but here in this Vikari world, so normally Dukh could have been like this, but because the entry of the religious founder, it is trying to, control the Dukh, control the quality of the Dukh, and this is the soul states in the true Yug. We know that this is a quantum physics and this is thermodynamics. So by combining these two laws, we have already seen that Purush Vikar or the black layer controls the entropy of the Prakriti or the, quality of the world. So which is going from Sato to Tamo. And we can say that we have seen that this Q is always reduced. So ultimately, because of Q is reduced, so it would have gone like this. So this we have seen the journey, this we have seen this journey. This is the Nirvikari journey, this is Vikari journey. And as per the physics, it would have go on like this. But so that will ultimately it will lead to a thermal death because this when the source temperature is equal to sink temperature, we will not be able to do any work. There is no difference in temperature. So this is as for the physics overall script of the all souls is identical relative to the first birth, and that is what this physics says, and it is going down. Now here we are seeing this entropy is control the direction of the time. So when from milk to curd, when there is a process, which irreversible process, if you'd like to reverse from curd to milk, the only way is that we have to go back into the time. So time arrow will like this. This is by default, this time arrow is like this. Why? Because entropy is always with respect to time, as per the physics, entropy always increases. And because time cannot go back. So, and it leads to thermal death. So it is by physics, it is shown that there cannot be any cycle because time is not going back. So time is going like this. So this is like this. But if things has to be eternal, there has to be a return journey, or there has to be a cycle, or time has to become zero. And that return journey is yada yada, the cycle. So cycle or time is equal to zero. So there has to be no nth. And we are trying to prove that that it is not going to the thermal death, but it is a cycle, and that period of that time is around 5,000 years. And this is what we are trying to justify of the cycle. So we are justification is that history always repeats. Then we also know that things which are eternal or our prahar, the four prahars of the day or four rutus of the year or four yugs which we have seen, they are all eternal. If you can see at the history, so we know that now we'll try to figure out how it can be a 5,000 years. So in Bible it is written that before the Christ, there was a heaven. So Christ is 2000 years ago, and 3000 years of ago. So that makes it as the cycle is of 5000 years. Then there is a population theory which says that now we say the population is always increasing that we have seen. But when if you try to reduce the population, then as per the statistics, just 4000 years before the population was zero. So that also comes close to the 5000 years. And with astronomy also, we can prove that Earth rotates the sun in 1 year. Then the radius of Earth and sun, that is around 100. So the surface area is 1 upon 10,000. And every rotation, if there is a tilt, then it can be covered in around 5,000 years. So that also will complete the cycle. And now the scientific evidence of that is based on that we will see, right, the cycle. So normally the gravity is a force as per the Newton. But with the theory of specific theory of relativity, there are the four dimensions. And so every event is described as a four dimension. So this is the event line. And it also has a predefined path. You cannot have this is only this possible. So that line, it is a line. This is a script. So that is the Prakriti has also a script. And we know that Purush has a script. So there is a script of Purush, then there is a script of the Prakriti. But as far as theory of relativity, the script is linear. But because of the theory of relativity, general theory of relativity, the gravity is based on the mass of the world. So this is a kind of a geometry. And this geometry is there is always a bend. So because of this weight of the world, the script bends like this, and because it bends like this, so that line will become ultimately circle because of the theory of relativity in general. So that also shows that script is circular, so there has to be some time period. So we know that cycle, if it is eternal, there has to be a cycle. We know that Purush controls the Prakriti. So by default, the entropy always increases, but Purush Vikaar can control the entropy of the Prakriti. And we know that because of the entropy also control the direction of the time. And if time has to become zero, then to become a cycle, the Vikaar has to become zero. And that is, so there has to be a cycle. So we know that physics, it is not possible to have a cycle. So there has to be a metaphysics phenomena. And The only metaphysics phenomena is if the cycle, there has to be some entity which would make Vikaar is equal to zero. Then only the time will become zero. And so that particular entity is our third actor, Param Purush or Supreme Soul or Paramatma, is eternal father of all the souls. The characteristic is that here the Q, all the seven quantities are infinity, so it's always a given. It is the number zero. So is the supreme soul. We can call it as Shiv. It has its only script, and that would always part is there only for the half the cycle. And somebody believes the Omkar, or it is called as a Jyotirling. And there is characteristic is that there is no birth. It doesn't take the birth because it doesn't take the birth, and it is always law of thermodynamics doesn't come into this picture because it is always in the soul world. And because of this doesn't take birth, it is helps in removing the vikar. So it removes the vikar and it is always charging. So its frequency is always less than zero. It is always charging. Here the frequency is greater than zero. So souls are always discharging. So it is only the one source of the charge. So that this is actor 3. So it is the charger and and this soul is a typical soul. So it is on the top of the human tree. Then there is a another soul with the two scripts. So that will be in this region of the tree and which is in the silver and golden edge. And that is a these are the soul with only single script, body conscious script. So this is in the region, and this is the religious founders, which we will see that they have the typical characteristics. They also do some kind of authoring. So there are four type of the scripts, and that depends on the position on the tree. So we are so to complete the cycle, there has to be avtaran. So there is in Gita, there is a slok yada yada. So this is incarnation. So what is the concept? It is the two souls in the one body. And here the body of the human body is of a soul, which we call it as a Brahma. And then there are two types of incarnation. So one, and because this incarnation is to convert, to purify the world or to make the cyclic. So this is going like this. So you have to, make it a cycle. So it has to work in the soul world. So there is a sound. Characteristic of the soul world is there is a sound. So it has to take a body so that, it will give the sound of the Gyan. So that is why this is the incarnation. And that is the incarnation of the Supreme Soul, and that is the real charger. There is also incarnation of the religious founders. So these are the souls. So these religious founders, where there's only a first birth, they take incarnation, like the Jesus Christ, where it is in the body, Christ is in the body of the Jesus. And the Gautam Buddha, Buddha is in the body of Gautam. Mahavir Swami in the body of uh, Vardhaman in the, you know, Mahavir in the body of the Vardhaman. So here we've taken the example of Jesus Christ, so which is before Christ, which is 0, 0. And this happens here around 2000 years after the 1936. So this is the time. It is birth of Jesus is 00. This is 1936. This is the birth of the Brahma, and then is a kind of a generator. And here, the religious founder only the first birth is out there, then afterwards it takes the human birth. And here, charger never takes human birth, and that is why this we call it is a battery backup. So with the onset of the Avtaran of the Paramatma, so there is a Sangam Yuga or a settlement or cycle transition Yuga is defined since Avtaran. And objective of it is a reverse the trend. So from we go to Nirvikari world, we go to the Vikari world. So from Vikari world to Nirvikari world, and that is done by yoga or bhog, and this will helped by angel world, which is described in the white. An angel world is a kind of the housekeeping operations by the supreme soul, because here there cannot be any communication. So, and this communication is not very frequent. So this communication by the sign language. So this supreme soul through the body of the energy body of the Brahma comes here, and then it communicates with spatial souls to transform the world. So this is the office, and how this happens, this transformation of the Vikaar settlement is either by you or book. Let us understand those definitions. Yoga is Raj-Yog is Param Purush, controls the Purush, and Purush Vikaar. Then based on this Purush Vikaar, entropy of the Prakriti is controlled, then time is zero, and that is a cycle. So this is why the metaphysics entity, that yoga is what is a Raj-Yog. And we try to explain those concepts. So the Raj-Yog is, it is the communication between soul and supreme soul. But if it only soul conscious, so that is what is a telepathy. And that is, you have to have some kind of a satsang or relationship with the God. And once you have a relationship with the God, then with man and buddhi will use like a lens. So based on this lens, man and buddhi, so this energy comes into your black layer, and the black layer vanishes. And because black layer vanishes, and that is how that is Vikaar vanishes, and then entropy, and that is why the direction of the arrow is like this. And this helps in once this Vikaar is reduced, so more and more Q is visible, and that is how it is a subconscious mind, the personality changes, and that helps in converting from Vikari world to Nirvikari world. So, what is a Yajyog Vidhi? Is a prerequisite is purity. So, in Gita, there is means Kama Shatru, so there has to be a purity. And this Patanjali, there is Patanjali talks about yam niyam or lifestyle has to be pure of both mind and body. And if that lifestyle is pure, then only we can become body conscious to soul conscious or God conscious. Then only we can communicate with which is both these frequencies, this frequency and this body conscious frequency that has to be tuning, that should be tuned. So when there is tune, there will be a resonance, and that resonance will generate a physics, atindriya bliss, and because of that, the siddhi, what Patanjali says, the chitta vritti nirodh. So that subconscious mind is clean, that personality is changed. And that only when happens when become a soul conscious. So that is what is the self-realization. And that is the eye of self-realization. Because this is a soul and supreme soul. The effect is the energy. So that can be visible by the eye. So it is only visible by the subconscious or unconscious mind, or we can say our intuition. And that is only possible, that intuition is active only when conscious mind is zero. And that is why you have to do all yam, niyam, etc. So what is the application of the yoga? So application of the yoga is it generates the next cycle or by God conscious karma. Now here the karmic account, because of that, in spite of this Vikaar or black layer, because of there is a charging of the God, like in Nirvikari world, we can generate the Q. So that because of this karma is called as a positive. So it is almost like a zero, but because of this and because why it is positive, because if you do this, it will generate this script, soul conscious script is generated. So there is no magic. There is always a push-up and it will be done by the critical mass of the souls. It is generating the destiny. So these two states we have seen, soul conscious script, body conscious script, and this is God. This is when there is a metaphysics entity or with supreme soul. We can say the karma has become positive because entropy is reduced, and because of the entropy is reduced, so that is possible. Of the cycle is possible, and this cycle is possible, and it is generating the script, so which is what is that we'll able to see in Nirvikari world. The script is generated now, and that talab or determined script is enjoyed in Nirvikari world. And now this is what is there, the simmer sukh pai. This is what is in scriptures. It is written. What it really mean is that there are two type of the sukh which we get. One is by you doing yoga in the diamond world or a sangam yug, that is Atinir Sukh. And because of this, we generate a script test. So that is the Swarg Sukh. So the simmer. And if you do the Raj-Yog with God, we will get two Sukh. One Sukh now and another is as a versa. And then another is that Patit Pavan Sita Ram. So Patit Pavan is a god. So in the Sita is all souls are the Sita. So all which is everything Ram is a god. So all souls are purified. And this is what is another sukh is inheritance sukh of the Swarg. So now the application of the yoga is what happened because of the application of the yoga. In spite of Vikaar, your sthiti is you get original sthiti. So based on sthiti, you can control the paristiti. So it is almost like a Norvikari word in spite of the black layer. So you become God conscious. And so we can say that as per this, Purush controls the Prakriti. So what happens that Purush controls the Prakriti. So that is how we can control the suffering. So we know the equation, the stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. If pressure is always increasing, that is Parishthiti, the resilience because of this Raj-Yog, when you do the resilience, so we are in the Q, so our Q increases. And so the stress is reduced. And when your stress is reduced, it becomes zero. Automatically suffering becomes zero. And then we say that Om Shanti is equal to Vijayanti. Om is Acharan, Uchar, and Man. So that is the soul. So when soul is in a Shanti state of mind, so success and failure is a state of mind. So when your state is high, it is always success or failure. So there is always vision because there is no expectations. You are in a Sattva-gun or Sattva-pradhan state. So Raj-Yoga is a science. We have seen that there is a telepathy, then there is Atindriya Sukh, and there is a change of the personality, and there is suffering is zero. Why? Because because it is healing. So it is not a miracle. So there is a healing. There is a healing effect. So that is why the suffering also becomes zero. So this is the proof that Raj Yoga is a science. Now this is a unique birth. In Sangam Yuga, it is only a one birth. We know that in Golden Age, there is eight births. So there are 150 years of the age. This is a 12 births, around 100 years of age. And each yuga is of 1250 years. This is Dwapar Yuga, or is it 21 births? And this is Kali is of 42 births, and this is one. So there are 84 births, but this birth is unique because it is not by Garb, it is a Mukh Vanshavali. It is by once you know the God and once you understand the Gyans, and that is what is this birth happens. And so we get the Mukh Vanshavali, and then new Yug starts. As soon as it was, so that Alaukik or adopted birth starts. So this is only one last or birth, and it is one in the cycle. It is for the spatial soul. The birth is in every yug. This is Durlabh birth, one birth. This is a Durlabh birth, applicable to only 0.01% of the souls, means 9 lakh souls out of the 900 crores will only take the 80, only this particular birth. And here, while doing this birth, we can say the God is this. When we say that is Manav Dharma is Durlabh, so it is not a Manav Dharma which is a Durlabh. It is this birth where you can, because this is like this. This birth is you interact with the Supreme Soul, and this is how some special souls which have taken in the branches. Some of the spatial souls will become again a root, will interact with wood. So this is like a banyan tree. So these branches become the root, and this critical mass of the work will interact with root, and that is how the cycle is formed. And that is why this is a durlabh or a unique birth. So people say that Manusha Dharma is durlabh. Manusha Yoni is Durlabh, but it is not a Manusha Yoni. So Yoni will always, for human soul, Yoni will always remain human. But this specific birth is, and they say that 84 lakhs. So that is 1 in 84 lakhs. Lakhs is nothing. This lakhs is mere objective for the critical mind. It is not a laksh. It is not lakh, it is a laksh. This is objective. We have This is a swastik. So we know that every yug has a different soul state. So those soul states are described by the swastik. So that is the fluctuations of the Q. Here we say that here there is a initially for golden age is 9 lakhs population, then there's a 2 crore population, the end of this 33 crores, and ultimately the 900 crore population. And we have this is we know that the 8 Krishna Ashtami, Gokul Ashtami. So Krishna is reasonable by 8 and Ram is 9. So this is Lakshmi Narayan or is a Krishna Radha. This is a Ram Sita. This is in Diamond Age. This is a soul state. We have seen all the use and this 2500 history is not the humans don't remember this history, and this is what the history we remain, and that all the history, what is genuine history is, what we know is this is there are 5 yugs, the 5,000 years, and then the 4 yugs, and, and this is a kalp. Kalp is made up of the 5 yugs, and each yug is a 5, and this is history of the 2,500 years, and that starts from the all religious founders. Jesus is 2,000 years old, then Ibrahim is around 2,500 years old, Gautam Buddha is maybe 2,300 years old, Guru Nanak is around 300 or 500 years old. So this is the genuine history. And now we see the settlement cycle by the yoke. So this is the red arrow. And once it is settled by the yoke, so there is, this is completing the cycle, but this is completing the cycle without any suffering. So, and that happens for the critical mass of the souls. So this is a settlement cycle by the whole. So this is for all others, not critical, but all other souls, we have the cycle is completed like this. So by Bhog, you know, by Bhog, the cycle is completed because there is a purification. So this is the most pure, this is impure, and again you are becoming pure, either by Yog or either by Bhog. So this is a navigation. This is the now return journey from human world to the soul world. And when in the time of the near journey, there will always be angel world. We have to go through Y angel. So all the residual purity, impurity, because here it is a pure world. So there is no vikas are not available. So all that is been washed out in the angel world, or we can say the Dharamraj or some kind of residual karmic account. By self-realization, we will, with Paschatap, that will be washed out. And then there is a, this is end of the cycle, or Kayamat is for all the souls. So this is, here birth is individual souls. So Kayamat is for all the souls. It is the end of the cycle. And there is, we can say that Mahesh, the word of the Mahesh, or a destruction. So it is first the destruction of the Vikar, and that follows the destruction based on natural calamities, World War III, etc. And what will happen is that this count of the soul world will become zero. There will be some souls in the new world. There will be that count will not be zero. Or we can say that they are the advanced party souls. So because they are the prerequisite to generate the nirvikari world, is pure original souls. Now we see what is the next cycle. So the subsequent cycle almost starts here. So when the subsequent cycle is, we say that Gita will say that Sadgati. So when you have a Gita Gyan, you will get a Sadgati. So automatically, if you've done a Raj-Yog, then you will get in this red cycle. The next cycle is the Sadgati Data. And it is clear it is a cycle, so there is no nirvana because there is no merging. Then with religious feel is that there is a nirvana, there is a nivrutti, or religious find there is a merging. So there is no merging because this is because the count is always constant. If you merge, the count will reduce. And another thing is if two souls merged, as per the quantum theory, it is to integer. So 1 plus 2 will become 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So fraction is not allowed. So that way, quantum physics also doesn't allow the merging. And when you merge again, so here this is maintained by Vishnu. So here all the functions of the God. So we have seen the Brahma is a generator. The Brahma has generated the new world or transformed the new world. Vishnu is maintaining the new world, and the Mahesh or Shankar is destructing all the vikas. So these are all the functions of the God. So this is God. See, now we are seeing the laws. So that laws are based on the two scripts. So in the black script, so this black script is this is the it will go into the black script is this law. Red is this total cycle is the red. The black is here, come here, go back here. And this is how the cycle red. You start like this, then again black, and again red. So this is the these are the two different laws for the critical mass souls and other souls. For critical mass souls, when you say that, when for critical mass souls, we can say that it will go from Pavan to Patit, cyclic, or Sundar to Shyam, or it becomes Puja and it becomes Pujari. So Vishnu is Puja, Brahma is Pujari. And it is, we can say, Pavitra to Vammar, or Smriti to Vismruti. So that is what is the cycle. So this is the Pavan, then this becomes Patit, again it is trying to become Pavan, again Pavan. So this is the cycle. So so this cycle, so that we call that this is the drama is a eternal drama. Now we're trying to summarize. This- so we know that everything is based on the soul energy. So that is what is ET is a function of the soul energy. Now this soul energy, this is a transition of the soul energy. So Nirvikari word is Sankalp, Vikari word was Vikalp, and this is Sangam Yuga is a Sresh Sankalp. So Nirvikari world, there is a Sankalp. And Vikari world, Vikalp. Diamond world, there is a Sresh Sankalp. So in the Sankalp, the script and the Sankalp one-to-one correspondence, and this is red. Karma is zero. So we have seen this karma is equal to zero. In Vikari world, because it is a body conscious world, so it's a Vikari world. So this is karma is always, because Q is black layer, so karma is always negative. And so this happens automatically. So there is, in these two worlds, there is no control. This is a pralabdha. So in Nirvikari world, there is no control. There is no control. So automatically there will be degradation. So, but when there is always a degradation, in Nirvikari there is a fresh sankalp. So even if the script has a many, one to many, but with the sankalp we go to one. So we'll again, because we could be God conscious, there is a plus. So this is the karma is zero, this is a karma is negative, and this karma is positive. So this karma is positive because with the help of the God. So this is with help of the yoga. This is a positive karma, and this is the divine. So here there is a self-control, or we can say that this is a metaphysics entity. So there is a Raj-Yog. So body conscious or role conscious. From body conscious, role conscious, we'll become a soul conscious using the uh, spirit. So this is the spirit is charged. So this is the spirit. This is spirituality. The spirit is charged by self-control, by meditation. So it becomes body conscious. And this is the three worlds which we have seen. And we have seen the karmic mapping, and this is by yoga, and this is a karmic mapping by Bhog. So for this, when there is you are in the black layer, so this is a karmic mapping by the black. So this is again a black layer. This is how the karmic mapping is also being mapped. Here, summarizing this is that spirituality with karmic account, with this script as the suffering is zero, script as is generated. So when this when you do this thing, the script test is generated. So there's destiny script as is generated, and that we call it in the next cycle. It is a pralab. We have defined the bhakti. So this is the default bhakti. So it is only loop down, and then we go up only through the bhog. And this is the bhakti. But but then for critical mass, this bhakti, for critical mass, that bhakti gets converted into vairagya. So that is not a sannyas vairagya, it is a vairagya of the bhakti and through intellect. And so that vairagya is only for critical mass. It is a bhakti ka phal. That is what is a gyan. And then we'll do the purusharth, and then we get the pralapt. So this we are trying to identify difference between bhakti and gyan. And why we define what is adhyatma. So Adhyatma is interaction. This is the Raj-Yog. So what is the Raj-Yog? Raj-Yog is the food is a Gyan and exercise is the Yog. So when with food and exercise, when it goes into the conscious mind, it becomes God conscious, it becomes happy. So there's a first stage is a happy. And then it will percolate into the subconscious mind and it will percolate energy body and then it will become the physical body. So that will be energy body, so it will give you a health. And then because you are happy, so with your related souls, you will generate a harmony. So there's a third edge. And then we know that inner world will always control the outer world. So outer world of the five elements. So there it will give a kind of a harmony or it will give a heaven. So this is the with this adhyatma, you will create a four heaven. So it's all based on the input. And if it is the input is not through the Yaj Yoga, so if input is a junk, if it is not Raj Yoga, so all from Indriya, then it will automatically, your health will be affected, everything. It will always, relations will not harmonize and everything, it will be a suffering. So it will be health. So the key is input is Raj Yoga or input is junk. So it is health or a heaven. The summary is that by default, we know that subconscious or unconscious mind, you have become always a body conscious, is a brown. Once through a Raj Yoga, when you conscious mind being active, then you will be a soul conscious with the help of him. So the conscious mind. So you have to, with the input of the Raj Yoga, you have to become a soul conscious. So we kind of a supra consciousness. This is the world drama, another 3D world, spiritual journey and law. This is a human world. This is a universe. This is angel world, this soul world. This is all is explained. Sadgati, Jivanmukti, Vikari world. This Nirvikari world is Durgati, Jivan world, non-deterministic, and Sangam world, Autaram. This is the liberator from Durgati to Sadgati, the God conscious one. This is a Prakriti transformation, Skati, Pradharma. So this is the another 3D view of the spiritual laws, which we already seen. Now this is the this is the drama. It is made up of physics and metaphysics. So this is the spirituality versus the science is interpretation. And this interpretation is we have put three actors in three columns and interdependent mechanisms based on physics and based on metaphysics. This is unobserved Prakriti within Skondar equation is a multiple state. So this is by default the state of the Prakriti or multiple states in a superposition states. As soon as it is observed by the soul, as per the script four dimension theory of relativity, this is a script. As soon as it is observed, this collapses and it collapses into a single state. Prakriti sources because conscious mind only understands a single state. So this is script. So this is collapse and the conscious mind, the Prakriti is observed by the Purush and the Prakriti, which is the conscious mind. In multiple states, it becomes one state, which is, throwing of the dice. And this triggers the Sankalp, like in your world, into zero. So this will be the conscious mind. It's by default it will generate a Sankal in a new world. There will be no entropy because there is in Nirvikari world there is no entropy. But once there is a Vikari world, which is stored in unconscious mind, by default karma becomes negative. Entropy is generated. Purusha Prakriti, and this is the cycle. So this is what is in Bikari world. Both happens, and the karma is negative. This entropy is generated. Because entropy is generated, Prakriti is going down. Here, everything was balanced. Delta S was zero. Here, delta S is greater than zero. Prakriti is going down, and it will go to the thermal death till the intervention of Paramatma. So that script. We do the Raj-Yog, so it's first column. Column is positive, is minus entropy. So we initiated, and this is Prakriti, and this is this, and the cycle is completed. So this is the first term, karma is positive, and this is because the karma is positive, so it's reverse entropy, the minus DSG. So cycle initiations are initiation of volume starts. This is how the initiation, this is cycle is completed. The script is drama, and these are the two scripts. This script and this script. So these are the two scripts. So these are which proves that the script is drama is a script. Now all this quantum physics, theory of relativity, theory of thermodynamics, all is combined in theory of everything. So that is what is a Prakriti. So what we have seen that incorporeal and Nirakara, quantum size. When size is quantum, they are all powerful. So those vibrations from supreme soul to the soul. So these are the vibrations which we have seen the formula of vibration is ET. And that formula of vibrations, that is theory of and everything. So this is a quantum field theory or string theory, which is of the 10 dimensions. And what that theory says that only not only controls the matter, but it also not particle, but it also generates the forces. It controls the forces. And this is how the Param Purush controls the Purush, Purush controls the Purush. This all can be proved, or it is in the process, the theory of everything or quantitative. It can always be proved. And what it's trying to say is drama is eternal, is made up of the four things. There is three actors, all are eternals. This Purush and Prakriti is they transform, character changes. Here, Param Purush, the character remain the same, and there is a script. So these four things are eternal. As for the science, there's a Big Bang. So Big Bang says that things are created, then there is a destruction. There is no creation, there is no destruction. Everything is a transformation through the cycle. So what is omnipresent or sarvavyapi is the vibrations, vibration of the supreme soul to the soul, and then through the soul, with the theory of everything, it is controlling the Prakriti. So there are other schools of thoughts. Aham Brahmasmi means Q is infinity, that is supreme soul. And then there is a Q, there is a script of the soul. And but then they don't believe in Vikar. So if they don't believe in Vikar, there cannot be any cycle. Then there's a Vedic interpretation. In Vedic interpretation is that Jagat is Mithya, so this is Mithya, but Brahma is Satya. So this Brahma is Satya, Jagat is Mithya. So that is a Vedic interpretation. And these interpretation is Advait. So Advait is that is false. So there are different entities. They are not merged. With merged is by the experience they are merged, but actually they are not merged. And the soul is nirlep, so there is no vikar. So that also is false. And then only then we can have a cycle. So we have the 18 physical laws, and then there is a spiritual laws. We are going to validate. So we say that soul is eternal, so keep taking births. Vikar is attached to the soul. So that is why if there is a if there is a if there is a failure in love, there will be hole in the heart in your next birth. We can say the soul is located in the brain, so there cannot be a the brain can never be transplanted. This law of attraction that we have already seen. Soul 7 that we have already seen. Nirvana, this we have seen. Young double slit experiment we have seen. Theory of spatial relativity, so predetermined script we have seen. Then there is a theory of general theory of relativity. Law of entropy we have seen. Drama with the cycle we have seen. Parampurush Avtaran concept of Avtaran we have seen. Then the Raj-Yog we have seen that self-generated is electromagnetic wave, and this self-generated electron. That is why we have communication, we can concentration. We have seen that. Vikar Vinash, we have seen the lens, resonance. We have seen karmic theory, action, reaction, but there will always be a delay. It can happen in next birth. This is law of entropy is sato to tamo. Darwin theory of evolution says tamo to sato, so monkey to human. So that is wrong. Law of entropy is truth. This quantum physics and thermodynamics, we know the Purush Vikar, Prakriti, entropy. And then all combine heat engine to Purusha, we have said that karma is zero, soul conscious karma, sankalp, body negative, body vikal, and straight sankalp. And then neuroscience, we have seen that this is a script, there is no free will. The abbreviations are used here, whatever is being used. Abbreviations. We'll summarize this. So quantum physics says that inner world or sankalpa controls the outer world. Thermodynamics says that outer world is always in going down, downward and is a turmoil. Okay. Then when we combine quantum physics and thermodynamics, so it becomes automatically soul conscious to world conscious. So what happens that soul is with sankalp in nirvikari world to vikal. So and it is generating the entropy. And that is why the time is entropy increases, time is going in this direction. It happens automatically. So nirvikari world to vikari world, as per the physics of quantum physics and thermodynamics, it happens automatically, and this is how the direction of the time is happening. Now we will see metaphysics. So that metaphysics phenomena is what we know that Vikar has to become zero with meta supreme soul. Then and then things which is going downward, so the cycle can be completed or, T can go into reverse direction. So there will be cycle. So this entropy has to reduce. And because of this, this is possible. So what happens that because of this metaphysics phenomenon, or automatically nirvika, this was by default, whereby Purusharth from Vikari world, by from critical mass of the earth, so from Vikari world, you can become a Nirvikari world. So what is a spirituality? So by default, it is Sankalp and Vikalp. So with spirituality, only when you, because there is Vikar, when you become a God conscious, the soul will have a Sresh Sankalp, so convert from Vikar to Sresh Sankalp, so you can get the output is Q, so karma is positive. So with Sresh Sankalp, we can do the Swa Parivartan, and that becomes a Sushti Parivartan, and that only becomes a Vikari world to Nirvikari world. This is the journey of soul is static in our forehead. So this is the journey of a conscious mind, so which is nothing but man and buddhi. So it is kind of a Swadarsan chakra. So man thinks, buddhi visualizes or with concentration, then we'll experience feeling or experience. That is what we feeling or we experience that will go into the sanskar. So this is what is a normal yoga is. It's a visualization of the past memory, which is there in a subconscious mind or part of that. And that when in a body conscious state, so we realize we experience this. And when we experience, we can experience happiness or negativeness. So this is what we got. So we go to the Mahabaleshwar, we remember in Sunrise Point, what was this experience, which we can get this experience by doing the yoga in here now. So we'll experience the whatever we have experienced at that particular time of time. So this is a visualization of the past memory of this birth, so which is stored in the subconscious mind, and this we can experience. Same thing is the what is the Raj-Yog is the visualization of the past drama cycle. So that is all stored in unconscious mind. So when you do this Sudarshan Chakra, so we can experience that. And that experience will be the Q is infinity. And if you experience this, automatically your black layer is, this is what is the definition of Raj-Yog. So it is a journey of conscious mind, but it is going into the past life cycle. So this is based on, we can relive the past life cycle. It emerges the Indian and everything, the whole thing. If you have experience in past cycle, and everything will be emerged. So this is the Indriya experience, or this is called as the Raj-Yoga meditation. So relive the past life, supra atindriya experience, so Gyan or Yoga for critical. And what is the prerequisite of this? This is the cycle. Soul world to Nirvikari world, Vikari world. This is how the angel world. This is the cycle. So this is a soul world. This is our Swadarshan chakra. So the soul world, deity world, we have Vikari world. Then we do the conscious mind. We go to the angelic world. So this is human world. So deity world. This whole thing we have to do to the Riyaj, or that is the angelic world also. But that is only possible if your conscious mind is purified, your subconscious mind, all these vikar zero. So this is a pilgrimage. So this is a real pilgrimage. So this is a sukshma pilgrimage, and this and that is nothing but a Raj-Yoga. So this is the real you to the pilgrimage of the Nirvikari world, and then we are to pilgrimage of the deity world, angel world, and this is what is this whole cycle. This we have to do it, and that is only possible if your lifestyle is pure, sthul and sukshma. Then conscious mind will be detached from the indriya, and that only you can do this kind of a thing. This is kind of a visualization. And we know that visualization means, and because of this, from sankalp we can have a sanskar, and from sanskar we can have srushti or sansar. So this visualization is very important because multimedia has an image, music, colors, and emotion. So sanskar image is key. So that is really affects us outside image. So outside image, TV, mobile should not be among because we have seen that this outside image will directly control your subconscious mind and it will bypass your man and buddhi. So if you don't apply the conscious mind, so by default, all the outside world will your control this your man and buddhi. So you are not using it. So in Rajyog, you have to always use and you have to avoid the outside world and you have to attend so that outside world and you have to always have a positive things or spiritual things and not by default the negative things because that affects our these things. See what we have seen is that inner world is our being, the soul, which is our operating system and it controls the outward world and that is how we are doing. So we give the command. So this is operating system and this is the command. So if your inner world is role conscious or ball conscious, or curve will always be negative. If inner world is a soul conscious or a God conscious, then the curve will be positive. So what is the inner world? Inner world is the cue. It is your intent, your thought, your emotion. That is what is the inner world. And what is the journey of the inner world? By default, we are inner world decision making is depend on the outer world, which we have seen. Okay, the outer world. So by default, we are addicted to TV or we are addicted to the mobile. So this is the outer world. Now you have to, by yoga, we have to become a soul conscious. So then We have to use our intuition. So that is only possible if you make our conscious mind pure. Then the intuition will come into the picture. And then later on, when you become a Raj-Yog, so you surrender to upper world, that is a God. So then you surrender. So automatically instruction will come from the upper world. So this is the ideal journey of the inner world. So here it shows that input content is converts your destiny. Means input means what is input? It is a content or gyan. So gyan is a food and exercise. So if you ruju, so that go to the conscious mind, then it will go to the subconscious mind. Then it will uplift your sanskar or remove your black layers, and then you will do the karma. So all input, either you will do the positive karma or you will do the negative karma. So it is yoga or bhog, and that is how. So input, so sanskar will make you destiny. So this is the input will make your destiny. And this is the summarization of the total Adhyatma cycle.